And a very good Monday morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Joe Benigno back with you again. It's the Ode to Pain podcast, Monday, June 9th, 2025. The Ode to Pain podcast, of course, is brought to you by the Hackensack Brewing Company, by Anita Discount Tire, and by Manscaped. Nobody really knows what a pain in the ass it is to get this thing up and running. It never just goes smooth. Never. It's an extreme pain in the goddamn rear end. Just want to let everybody know that. I know you don't care, but it is. It's a pain in the ass. And speaking of the pain in the ass, how about this crummy weather here? I mean, you got to be kidding me. I mean, it's June 9th, and I went for my walk in the 60-degree mist, right, of the lovely New York metropolitan area weather. I mean, it's unbelievable. And if you saw the weather this week, tomorrow is supposed to be thunderstorms in the morning, but at least like high 70s. Wednesday's really good. Thursday's really good. Friday's pretty good. Then on Saturday, we go back to 65 and rain. Let me tell you something. We have in this area, we have probably 4 solid months of decent weather. July, August, September, and October. Those are the 4 best weather months there is. The spring stinks. You never know what you're getting. We actually had a decent March and April, and then May was an out-and-out disaster where I think out of 31 days it rained probably 25. Absolutely horrible. And June has been up and down. We had a couple nice days in that last week, and now the weather's crummy again. I mean, it's absolutely crummy. It's cold out there today. I mean, it really is. The weather here stinks. Unbelievable. You know, it just tremendously lack of inspiration with this absolutely abysmal freaking weather here. But you know, it is what it is. We're all stuck with it when we live here. But nevertheless, anyway, got to start with the Mets, who to me right now are the best team in baseball. I mean, I understand that they swept the crummy Colorado Rockies, who have 12 wins this year. But you know, this is what good teams do to bad teams. And yesterday was just, I mean, you're a Met fan yesterday. You couldn't have been enjoyed it more. 13-5 blowout of the Rockies, 6 home runs. Alonso with 2 more homers. McNeil 2 homers. Beatty, even Francisco Alvarez, who basically stinks, hit a freaking home run yesterday. Just unbelievable how good this team is. And it's unbelievable. And Uncle Stevie, it's time to pay Pete. All right? You know, this idea that Pete Alonso is not going to play his entire career as a Met is a disgrace. Steve Cohen right now should be saying should be getting together with his buddy Boris and saying, what is it going to take to keep Pete here for the rest of his career? Because that's what they have to do. Because he's going to be the greatest everyday Met, position player Met that there's ever been. And it's not just the greatest homegrown Met. No, the greatest position player Met ever. From Piazza to Strawberry to even Francisco Lindor. I mean, you give me the guy, right? Keith Hernandez, it doesn't matter who it is. This guy's going to be the greatest Met of all time. He's only 9 home runs away from Darryl Strawberry's all-time record for home runs as a Met, with 252. He's having an unconscious year this year. And let's be real. He had an off year last year. We all know that, right? It was his walk year of his contract, the whole deal. And then, of course, you know, made up for it in the playoffs with the big home run against Milwaukee and all of that. But this guy's playing with a major chip on his shoulder because he was completely disrespected in the offseason, not just by the Mets, but by Major League Baseball in general, that nobody signed him. Nobody. How many first basemen in baseball are better than him right now? You want to say Freddie Freeman? Okay, I'll give you Freddie Freeman. Outside of that, who is? Tell me who it is. You tell me Paul Goldschmidt's better? I mean, tell me who the guy, I mean, I don't know. You know, who is it? Tell me who that guy is right now that's a better first baseman outside of Freddie Freeman than Pete Alonso. 17 homers, 61 RBIs. His OPS is like 1,000. He's batting over 300. He's been unconscious so far in June. I think he's driven in we're only on June 9th. He's driven in like 18 runs already in June. I mean, he's the MVP of the league. Now he won't get it because there's a New York bias, and Met has never won the MVP. There's a New York bias. They'll give it to Ohtani's interpreter. They'll do that. But I mean, it's a joke. And the Mets right now are the best team in the league. 18 games over in both leagues. 18 games over 500. Right? 5-2 on this latest road trip. They split the 4 games in LA. Could have easily won them all, but it is what it is. I mean, it's unbelievable. You look at their starting rotation right now. Out of the 5 starters, and Tyler McGill's really not any good. He's mediocre at best. He can't survive much past the 5th inning. He had 4 solid innings yesterday, and then the 5th inning came, gave up a couple runs. He was lucky to get out of the inning with only 2 runs. And then, Mendoza pulled them, and Paul Blackburn pitched the last 4 innings with the Mets, putting 13 on the board. But you look at the starting rotation. Every guy outside of McGill in the starting rotation, every guy, Senga, Canning, Peterson, and who am I missing here is the other starter right now. Why it's escaping my mind because, sometimes it happens when you get old. This is what happens when you get old. Every guy has an ERA under 3 right now, except for McGill. McGill, I think, is 3.6 or something like that. Every other guy is under, Clay Holmes. Right, how could I forget? Every other guy is under 3. Holmes, Peterson, and Canning are all under 3, and Sanga's under 2. I think he's like 1.6 or something like that. I mean, it's unbelievable. Whoever thought the pitching was going to be the strength of the team? Because it really has been. The bullpen's been phenomenal. Diaz is 13 out of 14 in save situations, and the one save he blew, the Mets came back to win the game anyway in LA last week. I mean, the bullpen has been phenomenal. Really, every guy. I mean, you name the guy: Reed Garrett, Barzabon, every one of them. Kranick, Stanek. I mean, go right down the line. Even this guy Castillo has been good, right? Now you got Blackburn in the pen, and now it looks like Sean Manaea and Frankie Montas are coming back as well to fortify the starting rotation even more. And I don't know how good Frankie Montas is going to be, but, with the way that Stearns and Hefner have this pitching lab going now, maybe he'll even turn out to be pretty good. Who thought Griffin Canning, who last year, I think he went 6-16 last year with the Angels with an ERA of over 5, was going to be what is he, 6-3 with a 2.6 or 7 something ERA? He pitched 6 shutout innings the other day against the Dodgers in LA. Really? I mean, nobody saw this come. Nobody. I mean, we knew the Mets were going to be a good team. And we're not even getting vintage Juan Soto. Now, I know he had a solid game yesterday. He was on base all 6 times yesterday. He was up 3 hits and 3 walks. No doubt about it. He's been a presence in the lineup, even though he hasn't done, he hasn't hit the way that we'd like him to hit at this point. Has he helped Alonso? He's sure he has because he's a presence. But it's amazing. Lindor's been phenomenal. Didn't have a good game yesterday, but he's still working on that little toe. He should really be DHing until, that toe gets healthy and he can play shortstop every day, but he refuses to do that. But he should be DHing. Got the big hit as a pinch hitter the other day to win the game in Colorado on Saturday. I mean, what else can you say about this baseball team right now? I'm delirious. I love the manager. I love the owner, but they have to get Pete signed. You cannot mess around with Pete. You can't let him get the free agency this year because there's going to be a million teams that are going to be looking to sign this guy. It's not going to be like it was last year. And again, I still maintain that if it wasn't for the Met fans, they wouldn't have signed him either. He wouldn't have got signed. Stearns didn't want him. You can say whatever you want. They keep saying, well, they wanted him at their price. No. Stearns didn't want him. And Cohen was going to let him walk. Except that the Met fans at that fan fest in January, which I was at and wound up getting sick as a dog after that next day, but whatever, right? That fan fest in January, when the fans were booing Stearns and started chanting Pete's name, and then Cohen got ticked off and started talking about how it's been a difficult negotiation and on, and then less than a week or 2 weeks later, he was signed. Oh. This guy's got to play his whole career as a Met. You know, we've been through this a million times. I'm sick and tired of how many guys the Mets have let go. We've talked about it endlessly. Seaver, Strawberry, Ray Knight, Daniel Murphy, Zach Wheeler, Jose Reyes. We could go on and on. David Cohn, Rusty Staub. You know, do we have time? I mean, you know, we could go back to Nolan Ryan. I mean, how many guys did the Mets let walk away? And the only guy they didn't was David Wright. And unfortunately, it didn't work out for him because of the injury with his back. And by the way, I forget the exact date in July when David Wright's number 5 is going to get retired as well. But Pete Alonso, if he plays with the rest of his career here, and he better, will be the greatest Met of all time. I mean, that's it. Certainly the greatest power-hitting Met of all time. He'll go beyond Darryl. There's no doubt about it. So, you know, and I'm tired of hearing, you know, non-Met fans, and I don't want to get into this. I don't want to name names because I like some of these guys. I'm tired of hearing non-Met fans, you know, well, you know, if he's here now, what do you mean? They have to sign him. It's not even in a debate. And how many Met fans, guys that call themselves big Met fans, were ready to let Pete walk? Oh, he's not that good. He's one-dimensional. He can't. He's bad defensively. He's one of his defense is much better than he gets credit for. I know he's had some issues flipping the ball to the pitcher this year on ground balls to first. I know that. But who scoops balls out of the dirt better than this guy? Who? How many? And by the way, he plays every day. Every day. 160-plus games a year, every year for Pete Alonso. I mean, where are you getting guys like that? And he wants to be here. How about that, too? And he wants to be here. So I can't say enough. I can't extol the virtues of Pete Alonso enough. Tremendous. I can't say enough about this baseball team. As a Met fan, I am beyond delirious. The only problem is that you can't win a World Series in June. You know, there's still 96 games left to play. There's a long way to go. You know, they got a 5.5 game lead in the division right now over the Phillies. The Braves look like they're dead in the water. The Braves are 13 games out. They're 10 games under 500. You know, if they're going to make any move soon, they better start making it. They look like they're finished. You know, and I'm confident. I'm confident we could beat the Phillies. We beat them in the playoffs last year. We swept them 3 games earlier this year. I feel good about this team. I really do. Now, they got to win the World Series. I mean, there's no sugarcoating it. This team, you know, they're on their way to winning 100-plus games, and probably winning the division. They better win the division because we don't want that 2 out of 3 crapshoot in that first round. But this team, man, you just can't. And how about all the young guys they got, right? Look at the young guys on this team. Whether it's Brett Beatty, big home run yesterday, Vientos, who's on the injured list now and has not been as good. You know, he's had a down year so far, and I'm not really shocked by it. You know, Alvarez, who I don't know what happened to him. I know he had a home run yesterday. He's starting to try to get base hits to right field. Right now, Luis Torrens is better. There's no doubt about it. You know, we like Acuna. You know, I think he's going to get better. But I think the guy that's going to turn out to be the biggest guy of all of these young players is Ronnie Mauricio, who is now back. He hit a home run on Saturday. It's still going in Colorado. What a bomb. I think it was about 460 feet. Just unbelievable in the upper deck in right field. He got 2 more hits yesterday, stole a couple bases yesterday. Ronnie Mauricio is going to turn out to be the best of all the young guys the Mets have. I don't think there's any doubt about it. Got to stay healthy. You know, missed an entire year last year with the injury. But he's on his way, in my mind, to being a big-time player. Big-time player. This team is loaded, and they don't need to do anything. I mean, I didn't really read it because the writer that wrote it, I'm not a big fan of his. He can't stand me, and I don't really like him either. You know, he's another one of these guys that invented baseball, thinks he's smarter than you are. I'm not going to mention his name. But, you know, they don't need to make any. What trades do they need to make? They getting 2 big starting pitchers back. Mauricio looks like he's if you want to make a deal for a big bat, you know, well, we got Mauricio now. Maybe he's going to be that big bat. And I understand the Mets haven't hit with runners in scoring position. We know that. That's been the biggest issue. You know, they're batting like 150 collectively as a team with runners in scoring position. And Soto hasn't hit yet like you'd like him to. But Alonso's hitting about 350 with runners in scoring position. And with all that said, They're 18 games over 500. What? Were they ever 18 games over 500 yet last year? No. What'd they wind up? 16 games over, right? 89 and 73. They never got to 18 games over, I don't think, last year. I mean, it's unbelievable how good they are. It really is. And I want to ask you this question, too, all right? And this has been going on for years now. Why is it that the New York Mets get hit by pitches more than anybody in baseball? They by far lead the major league. I think they've been hit 43 times now. Even Starling Marte, who's not even an everyday player anymore, has been hit like 8 times. And everybody plunks Alonso. I don't think anybody's been hit more than Alonso over the last 5 years. I mean, it's unbelievable. I don't get that. What is that all about? You know? And at some point, and I love Mendoza, love him. I can't say enough great things about him. And we thank the Yankees so much for giving us Carlos Mendoza and Luis Torrens. We really do. Thank you so much for those guys. But at some point, don't I have to see Mendoza get out there and start screaming at the what the hell's going on? Right? And when is the Met going to charge the mound? When is that happening? I mean, with the way they get hit, it's obscene. It really is. But I mean, if you're a Met fan right now, you got to just be beyond delirious. 42 and 24, 5.5 game lead in the National League East, coming off a 5-2 homestand. Just cannot say enough about this baseball team right now. Just cannot say enough about them. Loving every second of it. But like I said, you can't win a World Series in June. And there's a long way to go. And then, once you get to that playoffs, it's a big crapshoot. But I'll take my chances against anybody right now. Really. The Phillies, the Dodgers, the Yankees, I don't care who. Let's go. I think the Mets are the best team in baseball. And I left one other guy out, and I did mention Diaz. Edwin Diaz is fast becoming the top closer the Mets have ever had. He's phenomenal. He's right up there. Right up there with Franco, right up there with Tug McGraw, right up there with Jesse Orosco. He's right there with any of the the closers that the Mets have ever had. So just couldn't be happier with the state of my baseball team right now. They're off today, coming back from the West Coast, and they will play they open up a 3-game series with Washington on Tuesday at City, and then they play the Tampa Bay Rays over the weekend. So over Father's Day weekend. So just couldn't be more excited than I am about the Mets right now. Now, coming up probably next month, we'll let you know. We'll be working on it soon when the next live podcast will be. Sometime in July at the Hackensack Brewing Company. We'll let you know exactly when it is. Now, if you need tires, if you need work done on your car, whatever you need, if you need your car inspected, you got to go to Anita Discount Tire on Westwood Avenue in beautiful Rivervale, New Jersey. Go see my son Johnny, see Harry, everybody over there, Rob. They'll take care of you. Tell them I sent you. Anita Discount Tire, Rivervale, New Jersey, Westwood Avenue, whatever your automotive needs are. And, of course, our friends at Manscaped, they'll be back with us again soon. You know the deal. You want that illusion of extra inches. Wow, you got to go to Manscaped. They'll take care of you down below. You know how I feel about that. And the underwear and everything that they bring to the table at Manscaped. You got to absolutely love them. The body wash, shampoo, everything with Manscaped. Can't say enough good things about them as I take a little water here. I was out for my walk earlier, and it was misty, rainy, and crummy. So maybe that's why, I get a little, you hate to get where your voice gets a little off, but what are you going to do? Now, it is Father's Day weekend. Make sure you take care of your father. And remember this, okay? It's Father's Day. Let your father do what he wants to do, okay? All right? Maybe your father doesn't want to have a party for him, okay? Maybe he doesn't want it. Maybe he wants to go play golf. I don't know. Maybe he wants to go duck hunting for the day. I don't know what the hell he wants to do, right? But let him do it. Don't say, but Dad, we're having a barbecue. No, I don't want to. I don't want it. I'll tell you what. You have the barbecue, and I'm going to play golf. Yeah. All right? So that's my game plan. And by the way, the weather does not look great. It looks okay. Like it looks like it's going to be like low 70s. This is Sunday. Low 70s with, of course, the ever-present 20% chance of rain. Of course. Why not? But let the old man do what the hell the old man wants to do. You know, you get one day a year. It's our day. You know, I heard Keith Hernandez say this yesterday. It's our day. That's it. It's our day. You know, every other day is really Mother's Day, right? Or the kids' day, right? So let it be your day, right? And presents will be accepted. I mean, come on, right? Presents will be accepted, okay? And we don't mean another pair of socks. And we don't mean an ugly tie. And we don't mean like, you know, oh, a new set of underwear, just what I want. All right? So Father's Day's coming up. Take care of the old man, all right? God damn it, take care of him. And let him do what he wants, all right? Really. You know, it's not Mother's Day where you got to take care of mom. No. It's Father's Day. Let him take care of himself. Now, it is the U.S. Open with Father's Day this week. I got 3 names for you in the U.S. Open, okay? By the way, the RBC in Canada was won by Ryan Fox. Thank God that we got a major this week and we got the live guys playing again, right? You know, it's funny. I popped a little bit of live on the other day. Like, every guy, every guy in live, I know who they are. You put on the PGA Tour, like half of them, you have no idea who these guys are. You have no idea, right? And look at McIlroy. I think McIlroy missed the cut at the Canadian Open by like 10 shots. McIlroy shot. He's done. You know, let's be honest. He did what he had to do with the Masters. You know, he slayed the dragon. He found the Holy Grail. Don't expect much from him the rest of the year, really. I don't think his heart's into it. In fact, he's even said it that, he doesn't even want to practice anymore. And I get it, you know. He should probably take the rest of the year off. He's got plenty of money. Take the rest of the year off and just come back next year. So, you know, he's won the Grand Slam. There's really nothing left for him to do. But I got names for you. Here's the 3 names I got at the U.S. Open. And I don't think a lot of guys can win it. And I'm here in Oakmont that the rough is absolutely horrible, made it very difficult. Wouldn't you love to see the winner be like one under par? One over. That'd even be better. Like, you know, 1 or 2 under par wins the U.S. Open this week at Oakmont. That'd be great. But I got 3 names for you. Obviously, Scottie Scheffler, right now the best player in the world, right? Won the PGA, never know, right? He's the best. And then you got the 2 guys from LIV, Bryson DeChambeau and Jon Rahm. Rahm, who, you know, came back to life at the PGA a couple weeks ago, right? He looked pretty good at Quail Hollow. He was in it. He actually had the lead in the final round. Then he hit the green mile, and that killed him. And DeChambeau wound up finishing second again. So right now, take McIlroy out of the mix because he's not winning. Take him out of the mix. And right now, you're looking at 3 guys. And I got to see what the numbers are on him. You're looking at Scheffler, who's going to be the prohibitive favorite. You're looking at Bryson DeChambeau, who's going to be up there. And you're looking at Jon Rahm. Those are the 3 guys. One of those 3, the Benigno prediction, and maybe I should bet all 3 of them. The Benigno prediction will be one of those 3 wins the U.S. Open. I'm leaning toward DeChambeau because I remember after he did the after he lost the PGA, he was interviewed. Amanda Balionis on the CBS was interviewing him, and you could tell he was, you know, he seems like he's ready to win the next time out with the way he was talking. So, so those are the Benigno picks for the U.S. Open: Scheffler, DeChambeau, and Rahm. Not exactly going out on a limb. Is that you want to give me a guy? You know, somebody you want to ask me for like a long shot guy that I think could win? I don't know. Victor Hovland? Colin Morikawa? Ludwig Oberg? However you say his name? Oberg? You want to say him? I don't know. I don't know about him. Xander Schauffele? Won 2 majors last year. He hasn't been great this year. I don't know. Patrick Cantlay? Shane Lowry. I'll give you a guy. I'll throw a name out there. Shane Lowry. I'll say him. I don't know what the numbers will be on him, but I think I'll give you him. So that's my long shot pick. And I don't think he's that long a shot, but I'm going to say Shane Lowry. So my top 3 picks, again, Scheffler, Bryson DeChambeau, and John Rahm. And then my long shot, if you look at him as a long shot, Shane Lowry. Forget Rory, you know. We'll see if Rory even makes the cut because obviously, like I said, his heart isn't in it right now as he's basically accomplished everything he could possibly accomplish. All right, Benigno, the Oda Payne podcast. As we get ready to wrap it up, really don't care about the NBA Finals at all. But the Thunder came back to win Game 2 last night, so that series is tied 1-1 as they go back now to Indiana. As far as the Knicks coaching search, I'm going to say this, all right? And we know, look, they should have never fired Thibodeau. You know, yeah, to me, this is all about Jim Dolan. This was Dolan's call. I can't believe Leon Rose, who's done such a good job as the GM of this team, president, whatever he is. I can't believe Leon Rose made this call here. I can't believe it. But whatever. The problem now, and I really don't care who the next coach is. It doesn't matter. I know they're very hot for Jason Kidd. I think Dallas turned down the Knicks request to talk to him. I don't know. But here's the problem. Why would I be in a hurry to take this job? Because it is now, it's nothing but pressure. There's no gray area for you here if you're going to be the next coach of the Knicks. You either get to the NBA Finals and, dare I say, win the NBA championship, or you're going to be gone too. Because what else is left? You're the Knicks coach next year and you get to the conference finals and lose again, let's say to the Pacers again. You think that guy's surviving after 1 year? That's not good enough. And God knows anything short of that, forget it. So I don't think anybody's going to be, whoever it is. You know, I mean, already you know that Jay Wright has said no. There's a couple other guys that are out of the mix. I'm sure if you gave it to a guy like Johnny Bryant, who's a very nondescript guy, he'll take it because it's an NBA head coaching job, right? Even if he's only there for 1 or 2 years. But if I'm Jason Kidd, why would I want to leave Dallas where I'm going to get the first round pick with Cooper Flagg? I got Anthony Davis, right? I got Kyrie Irving, as much as a pain in the ass as he is. I got him. Why do I want to come to the pressure cooker that's going to be the Knicks? You're not going to have that kind of pressure in Dallas. But you come here, you got to win now. You better win now, or you ain't going to be around too long either. This was a mistake getting rid of Thibodeau. And I really think it was Dolan's call. I think I really believe Dolan thought after the Knicks beat Boston that they were on their way to the championship, that was it. Here we are. It's our year. And then when they went down against Indiana, he had to find a scapegoat, and he made Thibodeau the scapegoat. And, you know, you hear rumblings that, you know, certain players, Karl Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges, kind of badmouthed Thibodeau on the way out, on the exit interviews and all on the way out. Who knows what really happened there? But I blame Dolan. This has Jim Dolan all over it. You know, it just does. So, but I don't think whoever the coach is, I heard my good friend John Harper's offered Danny Hurley. If I'm Danny Hurley, what do I want to come here for? Like I said, the pressure's, forget it. You got to win now. Why the hell you want this job? You're at one of the premier programs in the country at UConn. You've already won 2 national championships there. Why the hell you want to leave that to come here? Come on. So I think it's going to wind up being like a guy like Johnny Bryant, because that's the only kind of guy that's going to want this job with the pressure that's on him. He just wants to be a head coach. So I think it's going to be somebody like that. I don't see Jason Kidd. I certainly don't see Danny Hurley taking the job. You know, I mean, Butenhauser or whoever all these other guys are, Malone. You know, I heard Jeff Van Gundy. You think Jeff Van Gundy wants to come back and coach the Knicks again? Really? And I don't know what his relationship is with Jim Dolan, but you think Van Gundy wants this job? And again, like I said, with the pressure that you better win now. If you don't, you know, you're out. So I don't think it's going to be that easy filling this Knicks head coaching job. And I don't think it's going to be done anytime soon. I mean, you know, I don't even think they have a first round pick, so it doesn't really matter with the draft, right? Maybe by the time the free agent period starts in July, maybe they'll do something by then, I guess. But I got a feeling it's going to be somebody like Johnny Bryant, because that's the only kind of guy that's going to take the job. Anybody else that's a high-profile coach, why the hell would you want to come to the pressure cooker that's going to be the Knicks next year? Right? You tell me. So we'll see what happens, nevertheless. All right, everybody have a great week. Enjoy the outstanding weather today. All right, make sure you got that 35 sunblock, okay? If you don't have, if you don't tan well, make sure you got that 35 sunblock so you don't want to get like any sun poisoning or anything like that with the absolute great weather we got. They're just unbelievable. June 9th and the weather sucks. 60 degrees and rainy. What a disaster. Oh, my God. All right. All the love, everybody. God bless America. God knows we need it. Things are great in L.A. these days, aren't they? Everybody have a great rest of your week. I will talk to you on Friday. All the love.